Hello everyone, welcome to yet another video, and today we'll be looking at a very special pair of derby shoes from Passus Shoes Budapest. Coming up. I am back and so are the reviews, and today I have yet another super special episode which is sort of sponsored by my unnamed friend in the UK who sent me a pair of St. Christmas before. Make sure to check that up. And today he sent me a pair of his Passus Shoes Budapest, and specifically this derby called the Tom. And it arrived straight from the factory, so really my opinion is going to be pretty much just out of the box and what I feel and what I think. This is quite a new brand, a bit older, you'd say, than 2 years, and it's based in Hungary, Budapest, but I think their workshop is in Transylvania. We'll talk a bit more about them as a brand. This specific model is called the Tom, and it's a 2-eyelet derby that you can customize or buy ready to wear. And its retail price is about $900 and seems to include shoe trees, lasted shoe trees. So it is quite a bit pricey, but we're gonna talk about why and if it's worth your money or not. As for the brand Passus, short history lesson is that one of the people that worked for many years as a sales manager in VAS Budapest, you see the connection, he decided he had a vision. He wanted to create his own brand, and together with the owner of another famous shop in New York City called Sartoriale, together they sort of like created this vision, this project where they wanted to make handmade shoes in Hungary or from Hungary, make them a bit more modern, and in a way I'd say expand on this model and quality and reputation that VAS has. So these shoes are pretty much handmade, hand-lasted, hand-welted, with a hand-sewn sole and what seems to be maybe hand-carved trees. I don't know much about that. So in essence, it's a very good proposition for the money when you consider that St. Crispin's cost, 1.5 times more. So what we're going to do, of course, we were going to go deep and talk about the shoes and close-ups and all the features that you will find, which are quite a lot. And then I will show you how they look on my feet and what is my sizing advice and if I have any problems with them, or generally if I recommend them or not. So let's get started. All right, let's begin with what's customary but talking about the box, which is really sturdy. It's black. It's really strong cardboard actually. Of course, with some detail on the side, with the model, the color, last things like this. So let's open it up. Some tissue paper here. What I like, but also think that it's they're a bit of lunatics, is that you have this small little leaflet that tells you pretty much that this is a warranty. This is a 2-year warranty that tells you that if there's a problem with your shoes, well, they're gonna fix it up for you. I think 2 years is a bit too much. I've seen people wear their shoes and destroy them in less. But it also shows the confidence that they have in their product. Now, another interesting thing, they have 2 shoe bags. I'll just show you one. 2 shoe bags, let's say Passus, and in this beautiful turquoise, like blue color, which I really like. It's very different from the aesthetics of what you would expect from such, a bit more formal or a bit more classy shoes. But it's a thing that you will remember. Like, I don't remember another brand that has such shoe bags. You will know that this is, this is Passus when you see it. And actually, that's it. There's nothing else inside, so let's move on with the actual shoes. All right, now we're going to talk about the shoes themselves, the star of the show. What to talk about first? Let's talk about what this is. So this is 2-eyelet plain derby in black hatch grain, or you can call it Russian country calf, I think, a Russian calf. And the tannery that makes this is Horween. So you know that already that this is superb quality and a very consistent, very well-known tannery around the world. By Hatsgrain, it's pretty much like the one I discussed and showed in the Sun Crispins review, which is like a small grid, like you would say, much more discreet pebble grain type of leather. I also see that around, the edges here, but also around here, around the facing and at the bottom of the stitching, the Hatsgrain pattern fades to a more smoother pattern. Again, I'm not sure if that's intentional or something, that cannot be avoided, etc. But it is what it is. It's very subtle and you would never notice. As for the shoe itself, I can already see something that I don't like, and maybe you can spot it as well too. So here, of course it's a derby, so it has an open lacing system, and you can see these oranges, natural hues here, that is pretty much just, it's the lining, but it shows like you can see it from the side. I would probably like to paint it black to keep more with the aesthetics of the shoe, which it is quite more formal, I would say, especially due to the color. And overall, it has a very nice shape, you can see. So this is the 2000 last. I think Passus has the 1000, the 2000, and I'm not sure if they're developing another one. But you can see that here, this is quite, it's a very, very almondy, almost soft square last. The way you can see that it's not exactly soft square is like here at the trimming of the edge, that it has a slight curvature. And for a better view here, you can see it. Like, you can see how it looks. It's a pretty nice looking last. I love soft square or very almondy toes. What I see also is that it is quite structured around the edges, but maybe not as much as some British counterparts, or for example, some Hungary shoes I saw from Carlos Santos. And these are hand-welted, hand-lasted, and even hand-sewn at the bottom, which is like mind-blowing. What else? As far as the laces are probably my least favorite part. They have this distinct sound to it, and they are really thin. I don't like them very much, and they are quite long as well, if you see by the size of the knot I've made here. That's not a problem. Other than that, I mean, it looks very well made. The stitching that's around the shoe on the areas, here around the seam and on the quarters, they're very well made. But I guess these days it's pretty consistent on the top. So let's take a look what happens at the bottom, which is very interesting and very important. The sole work is phenomenal. There are a few, hidden, how would you say it, like few near misses here, but overall aesthetically it's a very beautiful shoe. It's a very beautiful sole with a really nice, you can see the fiddle back here, how it curves, and it's a nicely tight waist, and this reminds me of like a Tetris piece. The sole is JR sole, so it's very durable and has a great reputation, so no expenses spared there. Of course, there are some tacks and some nails at the front, and some really nice ones with like this, this brass color around the heel here. Now, when it comes to the actual stitching, of course, this is a closed channel, so you don't really see the stitching, but you can probably see here, the small channel, the small cut. It is a little uneven, if you can spot here, for example, and from the other side. It's not exactly evenly distanced from the edges. Not that it matters. I do have some OCD, but I suppose, well, I don't suppose, who cares? I guess I've seen better sole work here, but it's still fantastic. I think it's phenomenal. Also, the heel block here is really nice, and actually, how to show you, it's like the heel here, it's so well trimmed, it's so close to the, it's seamless, it's beautiful. I think this is one of the nicest I've seen. And the last interesting part is here at the waist area. So this seems to be like 180 degrees, maybe hand-welted here, and wood pegged at the waist. So this is similar to St. Crispin's. So they put usually like wooden nails that they just peg, so they just smack them in there and help support, you know, the uppers, the midsole, insole, and the sole all together instead of stitching them. And it's a more traditional construction. This one seems to be fair, seems to be higher quality, at least on paper, than St. Crispin's. If you go back to my other review, I think I found like 38 nails on both sides, so like 19 each on St. Crispin's, but here they seem to be more like 64, so double, and that takes more time, that takes more materials. I think this is a phenomenal sole. Really good shoe overall. Looking forward to see what they do with the brand. But before we move on, let's also talk about the suturies. So the suturies are underwhelming, at least at their current state. They seem to be lasted. If you check here at the top, I don't know if they're exactly lasted because this is a bit more chiseled at the front. They are quite softened. Actually, I'm not sure they're handmade, but whatever. They have one metal piece that connects both of them. That's what's interesting here at the bottom. There are like these two what seem to be carved like round balls here, round shapes, which looks like they've been filled in. I'm not sure why or what function they have, but I do know that they are currently improving like the suturies with more branded hollowed trees, which is great. And one other last thing I want to talk about is that when you look at the welt here, let me see if I can show you very well. The welt here, the SPI is not exactly high. Like you'll be like, oh my God, it's not 12, it's not 14, it's SPI. It is a bit less. However, and that comes from the help with Jesper from Shoegazing. He said that the method they use, that they actually, you know, mark exactly where they're going to do the stitching and they follow it instead of using the fudging tool, which can appear that, you know, they can make them appear that they have a higher density while they are not. So nothing wrong there. And so I don't forget other things as well. Inside the insole is, I mean, it's quite smooth. It has a full insole. That's great. There is no suede feel or trim to the back, but you can see that the heel cap is quite, say, narrow or narrows around. Well, that's why it will hug it much better. And when it comes to the tongue could be a little better finished. You can see on the sides, maybe it's a little uneven, and there is some very interesting white contrast stitching at the sides. And that's it, my friends. These are the Passus shoes as a close-up. So let's move on and discuss sizing, value, and all this nice stuff. And that was it. So pretty nice looking shoes, pretty sturdy. They feel really good when you hold them, and you know you have a robust, you know, a well-built shoe, definitely. They do carry quite a price tag, but then again, it depends what you think is real value, right? I always believe, and I'm an advocate, that true value as for, you know, what you get, and for a good shoe for a person that just likes shoes and just needs some good shoes is between $300 and $500. After that, I always say that you begin to appreciate more heritage, more details, more handmade processes, etc. So you get diminishing returns. However, from another perspective, you pay $900 for this, and for the same futures, you would pay $1,500 for St. Crispin's, for example. So you could say that you get a similar quality shoe for a much lower price. So it is up for you to decide what is value or not. But if you're looking for handmade shoes, like truly handmade shoes, that you know, you still have to be within a certain budget constriction. I mean, I can certainly recommend these just from their features alone, and of course the look, the silhouette, and everything. However, we're going to talk about something very equally important here, because even if a good shoe or a good suit or a good piece of clothing is, you know, is great, if it doesn't fit, then you have a problem. So these are on the 2000 last, which overall has a really nice shape, and I think it's very reminiscent of the Crockett & Jones 348. They were a UK 8, which, if you check my previous reviews, pretty much is what I usually wear, unless the last is, you know, a bit wider, so I go down to 7.5. For my US friends, that's like a US 9D for these shoes. And the moment I put them in, I felt extreme discomfort. Initially, I thought about, you know, heel cup, feels perfect. There is a little bit of pressure on my instep, which I do have a little higher instep, but that was not an issue. The real problem was here, as I show you here, which is exactly at the bottom part or around my little toe area and the metatarsal. And it was almost folding, like folding from the pressure of the wall of the shoe. I would not be able to wear these, I don't know, after 10 minutes, I wanted to take them off. However, even though I've never tried it before, I always knew that I need to size up for my Antonio Meccariello, my Gaziano Girling. So I would take an 8.5 UK. And I'm like, those are narrow and you still, you know, size up to fit your foot in. And I thought that must be the case with these. So I reached out to Passus, and they did say that this last, the 2000 last, runs narrow. So you should definitely size up half. Now this is a problem that I found because it was not on their website, and there was no data anywhere else apart from my personal experience. So my advice is, first of all, if you're interested in something like this, definitely reach out to them. Send them an email, give them a call, reach out on Style Forum, they're quite responsive, and they will guide you for the correct sizing. I did give them some feedback when it comes to the width, because they are quite narrow, and they did say that they're working a bit on, you know, adjusting the width, making it a little wider without losing the shape and the silhouette of the shoe. Overall, this should not be a problem, but as I said, always reach out to them, and I think that they will have to put some extra information on their website, or eventually offer a trial shoe or a made-to-measure shoe where they can trim the last or adjust it. That's it for the sizing. So my size advice is that take your regular UK size and size up half up. So if you are a UK 8, take a UK 8.5. Great. Other small features I didn't like so much were the laces. And they talked to me and they said that the overall quality of the laces they use is good, but they admitted that this particular model could have a bit beefier laces and a little shorter as well, because these feel a little, you know, too thin. Maybe I have big hands, who knows. And I thought that the shoe trees can be better as well, but we're already working on them, and I might have some pictures to show you as well. I'll look it up. So overall, good shoes, superb construction, like really awesome waist for the money. And I think they have something decent going on with the silhouette overall of the shoes. They have a quite sleek appearance, at least for this last. And I don't think you can go wrong with them when it comes to the pricing, and if you can fix or make a model that you envision. So that's great. I would definitely choose them above all English shoes, maybe apart from Gaziano Girling, at least stylistically and based on the offering. But that's granted that I can, you know, get the proper sizing. I spend $1,000. I want something that is at least more handmade or has some more handmade processes. And so you can call me a little biased there, but I think there are good shoes. Again, they're not mine, so I don't retail them, so I don't get any commission out of this. I just want to bring you some more interesting content. So my view and my opinion about this is completely unbiased. You do with it, whatever you want. But it's genuinely a good shoe. Again, where can you find them? Pretty much there are only two channels at the time. Two, I said four. Two channels at the time. One is the Passus website, of course, and the other one is through Sartoriale. And I will put it in the links, down in the description. You can find them there, at least some models. Overall, yes, good shoes, good construction, a good effort, and a nice entry in the higher level, especially from mid-Europe again, and clearly a step up construction wise, or like more polished than, let's say, VAS Budapest. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Well, if you did, make sure to leave the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and put the notifications on. I will have much more content to show you from well-known and unknown brands. So I'm happy to have you here and in the comments down below. Of course, before you go, who's that? Here's a snippet of what's coming soon. As I was saying, thank you very much, and stay for another 30 seconds for the bad dad joke of the week. So, when are most frogs born? In a leap year, of course. That was so bad. I apologize. But if you have any joke that is equally or worse, bad than this, make sure to write a comment, or just, as always, send me an email or a message on Instagram. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.